This is the build so far of my highly modified B3 Passat with a PD150 engine running VR6 brakes and Audi TT rear brakes. Sit back and watch the full build so far of where we got to with this epic build. We are off to pick up the new car for the channel and for me. So yeah, we're off to pick up the new car for the channel. Not going to tell you what it is yet. If you notice, the others are gone. My Polo's gone. My little work van's gone. Both of these are sold to get the channel, to get the car. So yeah, we're about to take a trip now to go get a car that I'm very excited about. So stay tuned. Here it is. This is my B3 Passat that I used to own 15 years ago. Since then it's had some upgrades. It's now got 5 stud wheels instead of 4 stud. It's got, I don't even know what the front's off. It's got a B4 Passat subframe. It's got a PD150 engine running God knows what horsepower, but it's ridiculous. I mean, seriously ridiculous. I know I've got Audi TT rear brakes on it, so anyway, yeah, that's a lot of the mechanical stuff. I will get to you in another video about mechanical stuff, but I know you've all been waiting for the grand reveal of the car. It's looking a bit rougher than it used to when I owned it, which means we've got stuff to build on the channel, doesn't it? So, there it is right there. A little bit rougher. I'm thinking about changing the colour, but I'm not sure yet. But there it is. It's got the GT kit on it all around the bottom. It's got the GT side panels and stuff. If you come around the back, you've got the US spec green number plate tub there. Give me the camera, let me show you the inside. Inside we have the, oh, this door handle needs funny. Inside we have Edition 1 interior. Needs a clean, but it's actually in really good condition. Edition 1 interior, including door cards. Get these door cards out. Edition 1 interior. There's a few plastic panels I've got to put back on. Look at that armrest. And the front, it looks like that. So yeah, we've got some 17-inch rims. I got them cheap on Marketplace just for now. I don't actually like black wheels, but they will do. So there it is. There it is. Hi, Emmy. There it is. The exhaust is full stainless steel, 3-inch all the way through. I think it keeps twisting. It needs another bracket. But under torque, this thing is ridiculous. The rear bumper needs sorting out, the paint on it, but what I'm thinking about doing is the whole bottom half I'm going to re-black at some point. The top half I might change the colour. There's a lot of things I've been looking at, but I'm not quite sure. But there we are. It's quite a bit rougher than when I owned it, but that gives us something to build on the channel, doesn't it? I need a new grille down there because it's broken. Here we have it. PD150 power. There it is. There's the beast. We got aluminium intercooler down the front. We've got a front mount intercooler down there where all these pipes are going to. Yes.
The next day.
So right now we're trying to get this old grill off. I think the problem we've got here is because this has got a new intercooler. The intercooler is there, and we've got this, whatever that is there. The grill doesn't quite fit, but look, we've got a new shiny grill here, so I might have to cut a piece out of the grill for that to fit, but for now I'm just going to get the old grill off. Okay, to be able to clear the intercooler I'm going to have to take off, see how I've done here, these are on the back, this, well basically these two, these, leaving the front lip so it looks normal on the front, but I'm going to have to take these pieces off the back to clear the intercooler. So yeah, here we go.
A few moments later.
Okay, as you can see, this is where they did come to, but luckily there's still enough on the front of these that when you cut that off, when I cleaned it up, the fins are all still there, but see, so you won't tell when it's on the car. But now there's room for the intercooler, so hopefully it will fit now. It looks to me like the bumper on my car had supports that go through these channels and attach to the top, but at the moment the bottom bit here on the car that attaches to the splitter is just flapping around, so I'm going to use this as the structural point. I've drilled holes in the bottom here and I've been using these little black screws to attach it to there. So let's get on with it.
12 seconds later.
Okay, there we have it. I had to in the end use cable ties here because I couldn't get a nut through the double layered here. So if you look here, it's trimmed around the intercooler and the little intercooler friend. I think that's the oil cooler. There's the intercooler. It's trimmed around that and everything's back in as it should be. Let me back up a bit. There you go. We have a grill. Let's have a look. Yeah, there it is. Okay, next job. I've got this weird loud chirping noise when I go into full boost. It's not the, it sounds like a belt, but it's not the belt, and I've read that it could be a boost leak, so I'm going over all the intercooler pipes right now, just trying to find a boost leak. Thanks, Catherine. But down here, that one looks a bit dodgy down there, so I want to try and take them all off and redo them. So yeah, this is not something I can film really, so I'll get back to you when I've done it.
1 hour later.
Okay, check out the little upgrade here in this vent. This is a 3D printed vent to match these vents. Fixing quite well, doesn't it? But look, boost gauge. It's got a limiter.
3 days later.
Today's video was supposed to be about me changing this door handle. This one here, because it's broke, look. Comes out, you can't open the door anymore. Door handle's completely buggered, look, you have to whack it back in. So I've got myself a lovely new door handle in here, look at this. Actually, you know what, let's not look at this, because this can just be chucked in there. You know why? Because of this. See all the oil down there? Don't know if you can see it down there, there's oil down there, there's oil under the car. Well, yesterday when I came out of work, I put it in gear and I heard this clonk as I was pulling away. I thought nothing of it. I carried on driving all the way home, which was about 15 miles home. And as I was driving home, I started to get a smell of gearbox oil. I pulled into a petrol station to have a look at what's going on, and pretty much every piece of, or every drop of gearbox oil was pouring out of the bell housing. So I'm thinking I've cracked the block of the gearbox, so I need a new gearbox. Gearbox shit its pants everywhere. But it's weird. I knew it was coming. I kind of knew it was coming. As soon as I bought the car, within a week, I could hear. Do you know, sometimes it takes you a while to get used to noises of a car. After a week of driving, well, it was less than a week, I started to realise that between 40 and 70, like I think I said on one of the other videos, there was that wah 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 noise. Well, I was right. Always trust your senses, because turns out, I don't even know what's wrong. I don't even know what's happened, but it turns out something went bang and put a hole in the gearbox. Yet it still drives fine. No idea, but yeah, need a new gearbox, so I'm looking for one.
3 weeks later.
Okay. After a lot of messing around, it got stuck, properly wedged. After a lot of messing around, the gearbox is out. And I spotted straight away the problem we had with it. Why it leaked all of its oil out. Check this out. Look at that. That's why. That's why it failed. Wow. Blew a hole in it. Right. Time to swap over all the bits. Put oil in the new gearbox. And I don't know if I've got enough time to put this one in today, but we'll see how we get on. Okay, we now have the new gearbox on the bench. Just going to make sure the flanges are the right length for the thing. I've got to swap this over, this one over for a mechanical spinning one, I'm currently just going to fill it with oil, because to have it transported on a pallet it had to be drained of oil. Plus I want to put an oil in it anyway, so I've taken out the drain plug and now I'm just going to fill it with oil. Okay, clutch is off. Clutch, to be fair, doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look bad at all, to be honest. It looks alright. But I'm going to fit a lovely new sash clutch kit from Darkside Development instead. Already got the tool in there to centre it. I'm going to give it a good clean up with clutch cleaner in there, and then I'll get on with fitting this to the torque settings of 20 Newton meters. Okay, clutch bolts I have just given a good clean with some carb cleaner, and now I'm going to thread lock them all and then put the new clutch in. Okay, there we have it. New clutch is all in, leveled up, all torqued up to the correct spec. I've also just cleaned all up in here, cleaned this up and put in the new clutch release bearing there. So do I have time today to try and get this gearbox in? Gonna give it a go. Right, new gearbox is down there underneath there. I'm currently winding it up on the chain to try and get it in place. Okay, when you're under the car, make sure make sure that it's secure, because it will drop through the car and smash you in the mouth. Shit.
The next day.
Okay, I gave up yesterday because I smashed my face in. We're at it again. Now it's pretty much in place. We're just trying to get it to locate onto the shaft. Struggling to get this flywheel. There's bell housing over the flywheel though, to be honest. I'll crack on, see how far I can.
A few moments later.
Finally, we've finally got it mounted up. We have the top two bolts in. Thank God for that. Can't get the engine mounts to line up yet, but let me get the gearbox bolted up first.
2 hours later.
Gearbox is in. All the bolts for the gearbox are in. Front engine mounts on. Rear engine mount, no matter what I did, I could not get the bolt to go into the engine mount and take. So I've had to take the bloody engine mount off and try and work out what's going on with it. I've managed to re-thread it, and so the engine mount's going in now as well. So let's get the engine mount back in and see how far I can get.
Eventually.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Everything is in and bolted up. All the electrics are on. Everything is back where it should be, apart from the intake.
The next day.
It's all back together, I think. Battery's back on. Now let's start it up for the first time after, well, not the first time, let's start it up. Let's see what happens. Oh. Oh, it's moving under its own steam. Okay. Let's get this thing out and see if all the gears work. Okay, let's go for a proper test drive. Go to the petrol station, get some fuel for it, because I drained it out for the T4. So, test drive, petrol station. Petrol station, here we come. Let's test out the gears. All the gears seem to be working. Steering wheel's a bit off centre, but look at that, the front wheel's off. Sort that out. Tracking might need doing now as well.
A few moments later.
Let's test it out. Holy shit! Wow. This is nuts now. This is way faster than it. This gearbox is way faster than it was. I'm glad I went with the ASD.
3 weeks later.
Today's episode we're going to be changing the oil and oil filter on my PD150 engine. It's in my B3 Passat and I've got nothing but the best. Here we go. Nothing but the best for my car. They don't do these in 5. It's weird. This is specially designed for this PD engine apparently, but they only come in 4 litre bottles and 1 litre bottles, but the PD for engine takes 4.5 litres. So yeah, they're clever, aren't they? They like to make money. Got myself a man oil filter and right, let's get to the car. Hey peeps, have you ever noticed that only 20% of the people watching my content have actually subscribed to my channel? It's totally free. There's no costs involved in subscribing, just in case people think there is, and it will help the channel grow. So if you haven't already subscribed, please just click on the button subscribe. You'll get notified whenever I put a new video up, and it's free. In this little tub thing there is a custom graphic for the side of the Passat, and today's video we're going to be fitting this graphic down the side of the Passat. So I'm not going to show you what it is until it's on the car, so bear with me. It should be good.
Later.
We're going to be sorting out the interior fabric in my B3 Passat, and I was showing you how to do it on any cloth interior really. Okay, that is that bolster done. You may look like there's a bit of dirt there, but once that dries we'll see it better. Look, you can see the difference here though. Look at that and that. So I'm going to keep scrubbing. I'm going to have a go at this seat. I'll come back to you in a second once this is done. Okay, that's the bottom one. You can, as you can see, it's still a bit wet, but can you see a difference in colour? The scrub that I've done, this one's still starting to dry up a bit now, but see a difference in colour already. Look at that.
The next day.
Hello and welcome to what will become a very stressful video on ADHD Customs. This is my PD150 ARL Volkswagen engine. I've been having some problems lately where I don't seem to be getting heat in the cab, and then it started to overheat. So I went round it, I took the thermostat out, checked that was fine. Well, it wasn't fine, but I just removed it, put it back together, and it was still overheating. And I'm still not getting any heat from the vents inside the car. So my assumption is that the water pump isn't spinning properly. So in today's video, I will be changing the timing belt and the water pump. So let's go. Okay, first things first. I want to get this cover off. First things first, I need to get these boost pipes out the way so I can get down to here. One thing I'm really worried about is because this engine's not meant for this car, is that if there's enough room between the engine and this inner wing part for me to be able to pull the water pump out and get it out once I've undone it. That's what I'm worried about here. But anyway, let's start removing these boost pipes. There we go. Boost pipes are off, giving me better access. So there's the water pump there. Actually, I might be alright with this water pump, you know. The water pump's there. I might be alright. Okay. One thing I'm worried about is if I've got the right Allen keys and stuff, because that tensioner looks different to... Anyway. Right, let's get this belt off. The main thing I'm worried about is having the right bolts to undo the bottom pulley, but we'll face that when we come to it. Just going to give this a bit of a clean up with some brake cleaner before I work on it all, just so it's a bit nicer to work on. Didn't make much difference really. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 16mm spanner on there to pull that around, and then I'm going to use this pin to go through there to lock it. Just like that. And now this belt is very loose and I can just pull it off. Simple as that. Now I'm going to undo these 3 bolts and take this tensioner completely off. It'll give me better access to everything. Okay, tensioner is now off. What I need to do next is I need to get this wheel off, get the car up in the air so I can get to the bottom pulley.
A few moments later.
Okay, once again these stupid fucking tuner nuts have stopped me working on the car. Once again, the new part. This is like the 3rd one I've bought of these. The ends just snap off. I can't get the wheels undone because these are made from Swiss cheese, so which means I can't get to the pulley, which means I can't do the freaking water pump, which means I have no car for work, all because of this. Unless I'm going to have to jack the car up and do it with the wheel on somehow. Great. Okay, I'm going to have to do this with the wheel on. I can still kind of get there. Right, I just need to hope I've got the right Allen keys for these. I've got to take this pulley off now. Bear with me.
A few moments later.
Okay, there we go. We have the pulley off. Even with the bloody wheel still on, I've got the pulley off. I used a 19mm socket on my ratchet to move this around. I had to bend these out the way a little bit, but yeah, here's what it is. They came out pretty simple. Pulley's there. I'll put it to one side so I don't lose the bits. And then now I'm going to be on to undoing these cover bolts and getting the covers off.
A few moments later.
Right, there we have it. All covers are now off. So what I need to do is get this, give it a clean with some brake cleaner down there and that, and then I need to get this into top dead center position and line up the things, and then start. And I need to lock everything in place. I need to lock the crank in place, and I need to lock the cam in place. So that's what I'm going to do now.
1 pair of pants later.
Okay, we've got our locking tools in. This one is in there, and we've got this little locking tool thing here. Locking, you can see it really, locking the bottom one. If you can see it down there. Oh, there it is. Okay, right now we're going to undo this tensioner, get the belt off. Okay, that is the tension off, but we have run into a problem with the guide pulley. Undone the bolt, but check this out. I can't get it out because it's hitting the bloody in the wheel arch. So yeah, great. I can't replace that. Seems to spin silently. I might have to just leave that. I can't get the bloody thing out. Great. Now we move on to the water pump, which is that 3 bolts. Whoop, sorry. Then we move into the water pump, which is 3 bolts there, and 1 under there. So let's get this offending article out, shall we? Okay, water pump bolts are out. Shit is about to get messy. Come on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, shall we have a look at the offending article? Ah, look at that. There we go. It's kind of slipping on the spline. I felt that slip then. Yeah. It's moving on the end. It's not actually... Ah, there we go. That's what the problem is. It took a while to get here, but we're now down to... I've given this a clean up around there with a little bit of emery tape and giving it a clean out in there. It was definitely the water pump that was buggered. The one I bought is actually a lot better. The one I bought, I don't know if you can see here, the one I bought has got a metal thing on it, and this one is plastic. So yeah, should be a lot better. So let's get this new one in.
A few moments later.
Okay, that new water pump's in. It's in just in loose at the minute. These are finger tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do them up, and then I'm going to use my torque wrench, and these are 15 Newton meters on these ones. Now it's time to put the new tensioner in. I've been told that trying to get the belt on, it's easier to leave this undone and try and put the belt on this and then slide it on. Anyway, I'm going to see how I get on with this. I'm not sure I'll be able to film this anyway. Right, here we go. Timer belt is all on. Everything is done up. What I do now is put the covers back on. I've rotated it. I put a little mark there and at the bottom. I've rotated the whole thing by hand to make sure they line up after 2 rotations. They do. Everything seems good. Tension on the belt seems good. So hopefully it's all good. Hopefully it's all good. Right, so let's start getting the covers back on. Okay, here we go. We have the bottom covers back on in place. Looking a bit scary. I could have painted them, but I couldn't be bothered. Right, time to get the top cover on. Okay, here we have it. The bottom pulley is now back on. Now to put the tensioner there for the auxiliary belt. Okay, there we have it. Tensioner, auxiliary belt back on. Everything's back on there. Now I've just got to put all the boost pipes back together.
A few moments later.
Okie dokie, there we have it. Boost pipes are back on the car. Okay, it's been a bloody long day. I don't understand what's going on. Change the water pump. The water pump was definitely gone because it was, the turbine thing was spinning without the thing spinning, so that was broken. I've removed the thermostat to allow flow around the engine. I've checked the engine everywhere for blockages. The heater matrix isn't blocked. I run a hose through it. It was coming out fine. I've replaced the water pump timing belt. Done it all properly. The car runs absolutely sweet as a nut. But still no water and still no heat coming out of the heater. And the pipes aren't even getting hot. So, what?
3 days later.
Today we're going to be replacing the thermostat on my PD150 ARL engine. Okay, here we go. The thermostat on these is actually hidden down here underneath this. So if you pop this off of this bracket, just move that out of the way, then if you look there, that's the thermostat housing there. So I'm going to remove this bolt here to get this bracket off that holds the vacuum reservoir. So I'll do that now. Oh, by the way, that is a big chunky, what size is that? C8 CR Allen key. Just goes into this bolt here. Okay, there it is there, just here. So this is very tricky to get through. If I remember rightly, I have to use a 10mm on this socket, but it's really hard to get that down in there and onto there. So I'm gonna have to do this with a phone down. Okay, the bolts are now out. It's a fiddly, the one down there is fiddly as hell. You just got to take a while with this down in the gap and just tiny bits at a time. You slowly get there. Anyway, my thermostat is already removed, so pull that out, move it up to the side. There you go. So what I'm now going to do is give that a clean up in there and then get ready to put the new thermostat and O-ring in. I might even use a piece of gasket sealer on this just to be sure. Right, I've now given this a bit of a clean up. I've also given that a clean up all in there and I gave it a little sand over, a little bit of sandpaper to get all the grime out of it so the O-ring seats properly. I'm also going to be using a little bit of gasket sealer just on the edge of this plastic thing here, just to be sure. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing now. Okay, here we go. Here's the thermostat. I'm not sure if it's got a certain way it goes in, but I'm going to be putting it in that way, just there like that, just like that, and then the O-ring will be going in there, just like, oops, sorry, just like that. That looks right to me. Okay, there we go. Then bolts are back in. That's pretty solid. Now to put this bracket back onto there to attach the vacuum reservoir. Okay, bracket is now back on. Vacuum reservoir just has this little thing on. has this little thing on the back there that just pops into there. Pop it in. There we go. And that lives lovely there. Right, let's start putting coolant in this thing and run it up and see if the thermostat actually worked to give me heat in the cab again. One litre. Right, I've just gone and filled these two up with water just in case I need to top up again. Once it's done. Oh, that's gone down already. Is it? That's a weird. Couldn't tell if that's a water line or just whether. No, that needs more water in it. Right, I'll top it up again. Okay, now we're letting it get up to temperature whilst keeping topping up the water. Let it do its thing. I won't bore you with this bit. I'll come back to you in a minute when it's actually warmed up. Not sure if you saw the other video when I was having trouble getting the water to flow back, but look, we have flow back. Look, it's flowing back. That's a good sign. Okay, we've got lukewarm heat going to the heater matrix pipe. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Thermostat hasn't opened yet. Although that's got a bit hot. It might be something to open. Yeah, that's a good sign. Good sign. Yes, we've got hot air in the cab. We have hot air in the cab. We have hot air in the cab. Yes! Just needed a thermostat.
The next day.
We'll be sorting out the rear bumper on the Passat using this textured bumper paint. The body kit on the Passat is the GT kit, which is like a textured plastic, but for some reason, the rear bumper on my Passat, I don't think it's a textured bumper. It's just a normal colour-coded bumper that someone's tried to paint black very badly. So we'll be using this textured paint to spray it to look like the textured bumpers. How bad it is, look. You got all this here, all this edges done. It's got like gouges out of it. Go down here, you got patches out of it here. You got bits on the corner here. All down here is rough. But if you look at the rest of the body kit, it's absolutely fine. So let's sort out this rear bumper. Okay, here we go. The bumper off the B3 Passat. I found out it was only held on by cable ties each wheel arch, and it just slid off. So I've got to do something about that when I put it back on. Right, as you can see, the bumper's in quite cosmetic bad shape. Just spotted this here. That there, as you can see on the camera, that there is from where it had a tow bar and somebody had cut a hole, and somebody has used what I can only assume is silicone to make a patch. Oh, a piece of pheasant in there when I hit a pheasant. There's like a piece of plastic glued on the back. That's just a piece of rubber. God knows, but I won't be fixing that today. I'm just, because it's kind of hidden anyway. I'm just going to sort out the paint on it so it matches the rest. So, first things first is sanding it down all smooth, ready to paint. Okay, bumper is now sanded down. It doesn't look pretty. Look, it doesn't look pretty right now, but it is sanded down as much as, basically you do it by touch. It may look rough there, but it's actually smooth to touch. You want to get any blemishes out that you can feel with your hand. Don't mind me sweating all over it. I'm about to give it a wipe down with some thinners so the paint sticks better. Get any dirt off. So that is that. It's Pro XL, I think that's what it's meant to be called. A little picture of a spray gun on the X. Brilliant. Pro Tex, I'm sure that means textured. It comes with a normal fan, but it also comes with this special little like fan nozzle. So I think I'm going to give that a go. That. I don't want to stop or overlap too, well, overlapping's fine, but I don't want any line marks in this because it's textured. You can't just buff it out. You've got to get the perfect spray first time. So just laid it on the car for now. I think it's going to be a good match, but look at the texture on that. It's good. But I'm going to get the bumper on the car so it looks like.
A few moments later.
Let's have a look. Check this out. There's the front thing. There's the proper textured plastic. Look at that. Would you know that wasn't a textured bumper? Would you know? No, you wouldn't. But this is where all the scabby bits were before. Look at this. Look at that. So much better. So much better.
3 weeks later.
I'm going to be painting the calipers on my B3 Passat with this red caliper paint. So, let's get to it, see how it looks afterwards. Can't wait. Loosen it all up. There we go. Red calipers all round the car, looking good.
1 eternity later.
You know, I've been trying to find this knocking noise in the Passat for months now. Right, it's been off the road because I just couldn't figure out what the hell it was and where it was coming from. So far I replaced the wheel bearing, didn't change a thing. Then I replaced both CV joints, the inner CV joints at the front, didn't change a thing. Replaced the outer CV joints at the front, didn't change a thing. So I thought, oh, the brakes must be so warped that they're knocking. You know, it must be so warped it's tapping the caliper or something. So replaced all the front brakes, thinking, yes, that's got to be it. Nothing. I even drove it to work the day after I replaced the brakes, thinking it was definitely that. On the way home from work, I took a quick video to show my mate, and this is the video here. I don't know if you can hear this, but this is how bad it is. That was the noise it was making, which was really bad, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was wrong because I'd replaced everything. Then I decided, a mate of mine at work said to me, why don't you just try, I know it's a weird one, why don't you just try swapping the front wheels over, see if it makes any difference whatsoever. And I thought, oh, give it a go. So I did it. Then the noise jumped to the other side of the car. Right? It jumped to the other side of the car. And I was like, what the hell? And then I was like, hang on a minute, I've got BBS 2-piece wheels. I wonder. So I checked all the tightness of all the bolts. I just checked all the tightness of the bolts on the BBS wheels. And guess what? They were about to collapse. Yeah, I drive fast sometimes, and especially on the way in from work on a long straight road, and it was making so much noise that, anyway, when I looked at the wheel, half of the wheel bolts had snapped, and for some reason the heads were just sitting in there rattling. So it was the centre of the BBS wheel that was causing this knocking noise and this squeaking noise for the last month. So it could have gone at any point. So I'm happy that I found the problem not happy that my BBS are buggered. I've got to somehow drill out all them titanium bolts. So yeah, look, this is what they're like at the minute. Currently here, this is the wheel. Look, it's just snapped bolts. So look at that. Just where is it? There. Yes, just forgot to mention that I had to buy these wheels, Mark V Golf GTI wheels, to go on it because my BBS broke. So at the minute we're rocking these wheels, which are hideous.
1 hour later.
Today we're going to straight pipe the B3 Passat with the PD150 engine in it. It's going to sound good or really bad. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. It looks a bit shit, to be honest, compared to the old muffler that was on it. But I'm going to cut it off and get a nice big shaped tip to go on this. But for now, I'll just show you what I've got, where I've got to. Go, look. Old muffler is off. I'll just grab these things out of the way. This is what this one looks like. It's just a pipe sticking out at the moment. But under here, you can see it is straight pipe. All the way down the car, no cat. And do you like my little ingenious way of... It's actually solid as a rock, look. It's actually solid as a rock. And I used this own clamp to go through this by drilling a hole through there, putting a clamp on, and then putting it through this hole. So yeah, straight pipe. Solid as a rock. So, I'm about to drop it down on the floor and see what it sounds like. So, yeah, let's have a look what it sounds like, shall we? Sounds a bit... It's a weird sound. Well, we just took it for a ride to the... Oh. Okay. We just took it for a ride to the shop to take my daughter to B&M, and for the first time under boost, under load, at high boost, it growls at you. At high boost, it goes... It's the only way I can explain it. It sounds awesome. It drives absolutely quietly and normally, and as soon as you go into big boost when you're driving, it's like it goes... Just like that.
Exactly like that.
Thank you. Okay, there we have it. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? It's not like a deep sound because it comes straight. There's no cat, no muffler, nothing. It comes straight from the turbo, straight out the back of the car. So there's no deep rumble. It's just turbo whoosh noises. It's just like whoosh, it's like air coming out. So yeah, it's a bit weird, but it'll breathe better, won't it? So it's not stupidly loud like I thought it was going to be, but yeah, that'll do.
3 weeks later.
Today we're going to be fitting this. It's got a billet compressor wheel, extra strong bearings. It's a high flow performance turbo, and yeah, we're going to be fitting this to the Passat today. Oh, I can't wait. Let's get to it, shall we? Okay. The turbo on my car is located right down there, so this is what we're going to have to do first. We're going to have to remove this boost pipe out the way. We're going to have to get the inlet manifold off. We're going to have to get the intake pipe off. I think the first thing we'll do is take this boost pipe off. Then it should give us enough room to get down to undo the clips to get the intake pipe off. I just got underneath. I actually can't get access because there's an engine mount going, because this is not from this car. There's an engine mount going right across where I need to get access to the band to get the intake pipe off. So I'm going to have to try and come down through here. So this is in the way a bit. So I'm going to have to take this EGR delete off.
A few moments later.
Okay, I managed to get that boost pipe off. Hopefully, that will give me access to the clips to get... No, it won't. How the hell am I meant to get to the clip that holds this on? God knows. Okay, inlet pipe is now off, and now you can actually see the turbo. Let me get that. So, Get that clamp off, yeah. Actually see the turbo now. Wow, alright. Now it's time to take, I'm going to take the inlet manifold off now. Okay, I've done the inlet manifold bolts. That should come off like that. Now then, start undoing parts of the turbo. I think now I'm going to undo the exhaust. Okay, I've managed to get to the two top exhaust bolts from up here, but now I'm going to have to get under the car and get underneath and then have a look. Right, now we're still under the car. Now we need to get that oil feed off the bottom. So crack that off. That's 22 mil. Okay, that oil feed is off, and I've dropped the car down back down to the floor to give me better access so I can lean over better and get to what I want to get to. Right. Now I need to undo that oil feed on the top there, and then it's all the studs that hold it on. I don't believe this. After all that, you can't get the turbo out because whoever built this car never bothered cutting off that ring on the engine mount, which is stopping the turbo from being pulled off. For God's sake. Took a lot of prying and a lot of messing around, but we got it out. God knows how we're going to get that one back in, but we got that one out. Oh my God, that was work. Almost broke studs doing it. I think the only way to do this is to remove the studs and put the studs in. Just sliding them over is not going to be an option. Right, now, here we go. We have the turbos here. So I need to swap some things over. I need to clock this to match this one. So I'm going to bring that round to here to match that one. And I'm going to have to swap a few bits over, like the EGR blanking plate, the oil feed's got to be switched over, and all that stuff. So I want to get on with that. Okay, after a lot of messing around, a lot of hammering on a weird ring that was attached to the engine mount to try and bend it down to give me enough room to get the turbo in, a lot of fucking around, a lot of messing around, a lot of knuckle scraping, a lot of swearing. Finally got it on. Finally got the old one out and the new one in and bolted up. So now it's time to start putting everything back together. Right, it's not over yet, people. It's not over yet.
One pair of pants later.
I'm seriously at my wit's end now. I never thought the hardest part of the entire job would be this. Getting the intake pipe back on, and then I've got to get the boost pipe back on behind it. It's almost like it never came off that way. I don't know what's going on. I'm having to go underneath on top. My God, I've never had so much trouble trying to get a pipe on before. This is ridiculous. Right, keep going. It's only been half hour.
Eventually.
Okay. Intake pipe on. I've managed to get this elbow onto the boost pipe. And now I've got to try and do it up somehow. God knows how. And then it's just boost pipes here. Oil feed is on. Oh, tell you what. The turbo was the easy bit. The piping is the difficult bit.
Eventually.
Okay, that's it. It's all back together. I'm a bit scared to start it. Yeah, everything's back together. I don't think I've missed anything. Everything's as it should be. Everything's plugged in. All the boost pipes are on. I'm just praying to God that there's no oil leaks or anything. So, moment of truth. Let's start it up. Okay, turn the key. Good. Sounds alright. Well, that's that. I've done it. Turbo's on. It sounds good. I've lost that woo woo noise. I kind of liked the siren noise, if I'm honest, but it was the sound of a bad turbo. So took it up the road. I've not took it out on a proper big blam yet. I'll do that in a minute. So yeah, that's done. So I've got some wheels to go on. I've wedged the phone up as best I can. Seatbelt on and all that. Go for a little drive. Oh, for a little drive, shall we? Yeah, no, it's not a very good shot of me. Here's what it is. Let's take it on the long bit. Let's see what the boost is like. Here we go. Here we go. Give it the beans. Okay, yeah, that's quick. Ooh, fuck me! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! That's definitely quick. That's quick. Here we go again. Whoa, wheel spin. I'm thinking the boot. Can you see them tyres back there? Yeah, there's some new wheels in the boot for the Passat. Brand new wheels.
The next day.
Today we've got new wheels to go on the B3 Passat. Really, really nice wheels. So, what wheels did I get? Let's get to it, shall we? Not sure if you remember, but I did have them BBS RS 771s on the Passat. They look really nice, loved them. I love my BBS. And if you remember rightly, in some of my old videos, if you go back and have a look, I had a problem with a noise that I was trying to hunt down for a month, and it turned out to actually be a lot of the bolts had snapped in my BBS split rim wheels. Then I found out they hadn't snapped. The person I bought them off had stitched me up by putting the wheels together. They must have snapped the bolts when they were refurbing the wheels, and what they'd done is glued the heads back on so it looked like the wheels were fine. So, since then, I've had other wheels on the car, as you can see here, and I didn't really like them. They were alright. Anyway, I sold them, and I've used the money to get myself some new wheels, some new. Sorry, the gate's blowing my wind. The gate's blowing my wind. The wind's blowing bloody gate. Anyway, so I've got new wheels. I've got some BBS split rim wheels again for the Passat, and these wheels are lovely. The paint on them is amazing. What he's done is, though, he's took two barrels from a set of BBS, I can't remember what they're called, the BBS that come on the Mark III Golf Anniversary, because they're 7J wide, the barrels are, and the BBS RS 771s are 6.5J wide. So he's used two barrels to make me a set of staggered wheels. So I've got the BBS I had before, well, the ones I had before, I've got the BBS split rim wheels now, but they're staggered. They're only a ½ inch wider on the rear, but every ½ inch makes a difference, doesn't it, boys? Anyway, so let's check out these wheels I've got. Hey peeps, have you ever noticed that only 20% of the people watching my content have actually subscribed to my channel? It's totally free, there's no costs involved in subscribing, just in case people think there is, and it will help the channel grow. So if you haven't already subscribed, please just click on the button, subscribe. You'll get notified whenever I put a new video up, and it's free. It's time to get them on the car. The car's actually filthy, so I might put them on the car. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because I shouldn't really. I might put them on the car and then wash the car and do like a montage, but more than likely I'll just stick them on the car, and you can imagine what the car's like clean, can't you? So yeah, if I snap my fingers, the wheels might be on the car. Didn't work. Like, the car is absolutely filthy, so bear that in mind. New rims for the Passat. Hopefully the bolts won't break this time. Happy days. See you in the next one, peeps.